What is up, geeks and geekettes? It's another episode of the Countdown to the Geekcast. My name is Ted, aka Teddy. Joining me on the show is one and only Retro Ray.
What's going on, guys? Let's
We
get
also got
ready to
the
talk Mandalorian.
we also got the man behind the magic, Joe Garcia.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Excited to go ahead and get into the Mando talk and start talking about the Bad Batch as well, because I know me and General Kenobi are really excited about that.
Oh yeah, dude, that was something else.
All right, and you know him from the General Kenobi's Bunker YouTube channel. It's the one and only Jose.
Hello there. How's everybody doing?
Wonderful, man. I think this is going to be an episode where I think the consensus is going to be a little bit more leaning to one side the last few weeks while we've been discussing The Mandalorian. Um, we've been sort of debating on a few things, a few
We've been
elements.
divided.
I think so. I think so. But I think this is one episode that kind of had a little bit for everybody. If you're watching right now, say what's up in the chat. We want to hear from you guys. How are you guys doing out there? And yeah, our main topic later on in the show, we're going to be talking all about The Mandalorian, Chapter 21. So stay tuned for that. We're also going to be talking about upcoming events that are going around in our area in South Texas. Be sure to stick around for that. But first, I want to tell you guys about a very special giveaway that we are doing. All right? Everybody listening, you're sitting down. Here we go. This is for advanced screening passes to the upcoming Nicolas Cage film Renfield. If you don't know what it's about, trust me, you want to check it out. It's Nicolas Cage playing basically Dracula, and it's a comedy, horror comedy. It's absolute. It looks hilarious, but be sure to check out the trailer afterwards. Here's how you can win: join our giveaway mailing list. Every time a movie comes up that we have passes for, we are going to email everyone on our mailing list first. You will have first dibs and the opportunity to win those passes, and then we will actually open it up 24 hours later to the rest of our followers. So if you want dibs, I want to make sure the people who want to go to these things get the chance to first. Join our giveaway mailing list. We're not going to share your email with anybody. This is strictly for us and any of the giveaways that we have. And we're going to have a lot more coming up this year because there's a ton of movies coming out. Pandemic is mostly behind us, and now there's movies coming out every single week. So passes are going to be flowing like nobody's business. So I'm going to give it up. I'm going to leave the QR code up for like 10 more seconds. Once again, all you got to do, scan the QR code. The first link on the top is a form. It says join our giveaway mailing list. Fill out your name, your email, and these passes are for the San Antonio area. So if you're in the San Antonio area, join the mailing list, and we will try and get you guys an opportunity to win passes to go see Renfield. Passes are limited, but there will be some automatic winners if you're one of the few ones that get there first. Awesome. And plenty
cool.
more where that came from. And then we're going to have a few reviews actually next week. Retro Ray is going to go check out Air, the new Matt Damon Ben Affleck movie. He's going to go check that out. And I will be on a different side of town watching the Super Mario Brothers movie. So
Nice.
2 reviews dropping next week. Should be exciting. But yeah, plenty of movies coming out. Let's see. We got some folks in the chat. Nerd Affiliated says, hello there. Stealing your line, Jose.
Yeah, I know. Mr. Hollywood in the house. Appreciate you joining, man.
That is awesome. You know what? That's not. How did that get in there? Huh? All right. Let me see if I can take that off. What's
Are we
it
getting
called?
spam or what?
No, I think it's the restream that did it, but I will try and fix that. Awesome. Also, next thing I want to talk about is
How come David's not joining us? David, why don't you join
There
us?
he is.
man?
there's Dave. Good old Dave.
Dude, he's getting ready to go to freaking London, man.
No
That's
what he's
excuses. No excuses.
Are you all packed? Are you all packed, Dave? Let us know, man. Next, I want to talk about real quick. If you're in the San Antonio or the South Texas area, There's some fantastic events coming out. I'm going to try and get through these pretty quickly. But the first one is dropping this weekend. It's the Werewolves versus Vampires event featuring David Naughton from the American Werewolf in London film. And then Samantha Mathis. If you don't remember where she's from Salem's Lot. She was in The Strain. And she also plays, I don't remember what her name was in the movie, but she played the Peach in the original Super Mario Brothers movie, the one that we don't really talk about all that much. But yeah,
No, that's JC's favorite movie.
what was her name in the movie? It wasn't Peach.
I don't remember.
But they're going to be in town at the Wonderland of the Americas Mall. It's free admission, free parking. It's from 11 to 5 p.m. both Saturday and Sunday. If you are a horror fan, you want to go to this event. It's fantastic. There's like 3 dozen vendors also selling items. It's a lot of fun. We've been pretty much at this mall every single weekend because there's just so many things going on. So, Werewolves versus Vampires, put on by our friends at the Social Revolt store in the Kings of Horror. So be sure to check that out. Also, coming up in 2 weeks. So April 14th and sorry, April 15th and 16th, the exact same location. Just said they have events here all the time. The Wonderland of the Americas Mall on Fredericksburg Road. I Want My Retro event. Eric Estrada, Maya Bruton. Maya's from The Adventures of Babysitting. She's also from Parker Lewis Can't Lose, which was one of my favorite shows growing
Oh, dude,
up.
yeah.
That darn thing all the time. Keith Coogan, Britta Phillips, who's actually the vocalist from the Gem animated series. My wife is like the biggest Gem fan. Larry Wilcox, Miss Julie Brown, Tim Blaney from Short Circuit, and Joey Kramer from Flight of the Navigator. If you are an 80s fan, if you are a child of the 80s, you're going to want to go to this event. Um, it's a great lineup. Again, admission absolutely free. Parking is free. All you pay for is your autographs and your photos. So be sure to check that out. For more information, go to Social Revolt on anywhere, social media. But check them out. It's gonna be a blast. Um, awesome. Very cool. You guys plan on going to any one of those? Joe?
You can be busy working, Teddy. Got to
That's
earn that
right.
money.
You're a working man now. You're a
Yeah.
working man now.
Got to pay the
Awesome.
bills, man. That Hill Country Fair ain't getting it by itself.
And Lozano says, gonna pack 30 minutes before I drive to the airport. That sounds like a terrible idea, but
That sounds like my wife.
may the odds be in your
Nothing
favor,
wrong with
sir.
that. Nothing wrong with that. He likes a
It's
challenge.
He'll be
it's
fine.
something it's something wrong with that when you forget like the one item you wanted to get autographed. You forgot to pack it and you're like at
It's
the
okay.
airport like freaking out.
That way he'll have more space to bring us more stuff from over there. So it's fine.
Hey, there you go. There you go. 1, 2, 3, 4. So four collectibles from uh over there, Dave. Make it happen, brother. Sean Solo's in the chat saying, "What's up, fellas? What's going
Hey,
on?
hey.
What's going on?" Martha Morales in the chat saying,
That's
"Hi, what's
mom.
going on, Martha?" Say what?
That's my mom.
Jenna Kenobi's mother's in the chat. Now it's a party. There you go.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Awesome. Very cool. All right. Time for the reason why we're all here. Mandalorian Chapter 21. If you haven't seen it, I strongly suggest you pause this stream and you go check it out. Come back when you guys have seen the entire thing because we're going to be spoiling it, but it was a banger if you ask me. So right now what we're going to do is actually I'm going to do my summary after we go around first. So I want to go
All
around,
right.
everybody just give us your general thoughts and let us know if you enjoyed it or not, and then we'll start getting to the nitty-gritty about everything. Ray, what about you, sir? Let us know your general thoughts about Chapter 21 of. Did I say Kenobi earlier? I meant the Mandalorian.
Dude, I just everything from the beginning to the end. I mean, I don't even know where to start. I mean, the fighting and then the ships. That alone, I was just watching. The way Bo-Katan and him were tag teaming the ship, and I mean, I don't like I said, don't even know where to start. I mean, all I know is the very end. Sold it for me. Like it's wanting me to see like what's gonna happen next. And then I'm gonna leave this one to General Kenobi to talk about what we talked about before we even jumped on. I'll let him bring that one up. But I mean, that Easter egg alone just blew my mind. But yeah, I mean, I loved it. I want to know what because she walks between two worlds. That is freaking sick.
I'm excited too for that. I have some theories. I'm not entirely sold about what's happening, but we're going to talk about it in a second. Joe, your general thoughts about chapter 21?
General thoughts. It was a great episode. Had a lot of surprises here, a little bit of twists and turns, and I mean, I liked it. It's setting things up beautifully. It had a little bit of everything: action. We had a return to a familiar place in Navarro, and you got to see a lot of things unfold in this episode, which we're going to talk about. But if you're a Star Wars fan, this episode is a pivotal tipping point, I believe, in the series, or in the season, should I say, because it's just setting things up again for for you to get more excited about, like, oh my God, what's going to happen? Are we going to see some of this stuff kind of mull over, and kind of sync up with what's going to go on in the Ahsoka series? So that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're a Star Wars fan, this is the episode that really got you going.
I concur. I concur. And last but not least, before we start getting to spoiler territory, let's hear from the man himself, General Kenobi.
Honestly, so far, I think this is the best episode this season.
Hey, very nice.
I mean, I just, I think we're all sort of leaning towards that way. But thoroughly enjoyed it. Like Joe just said, there's a lot being set up here, but in the right way. Like we cover some of the world building, but we also get into the nitty gritty of the Mandalorian, right? World building. So I'm excited for that, for all those prospects. But yeah, again, that cameo, I think we're all on the same boat on that one. That one kind of blew us away. But yeah, we can dissect that a little bit more in a little bit.
Yeah, I was so excited about the episode. I had to wear my Star Wars shirt. I had to
Hey,
represent.
that's nice. That's nice.
Rocking the Mando.
Yeah.
Well, I am
Very
actually
cool.
representing.
There you go. Oh,
nice.
he's on brand.
Hey, look at that.
You're on brand today.
Yeah.
I got a kind of a Star Wars themed shirt, but it actually says
Nice. I like that.
Best Dad in the Galaxy. Cool. Gotta love my kids for that one. Okay, cool. So we're gonna get into spoiler territory. Here's your last one right here. If you haven't seen it, there's a couple of big things that happen that we don't want to spoil for you. So
Yeah.
pause this video, go check out the episode, come back, we'll talk about it. Right now is where I do my summary of the episode, and it goes a little something like this. Chapter 21, The Pirate. Gorian Shard arrives on Navarro and orders Grief Karga to surrender, and he begins to fire upon the city. Out of desperation, Grief reaches out to Captain Teva, a Republic pilot, for help. Who else happens to be at the same bar Teva is at when he gets his message? Zeb from the Ghost Crew on the Star Wars Rebels show. There's your big cameo right there. Teva flies to Coruscant to speak with Colonel Tuttle, who isn't entirely enthusiastic about helping Navarro, and who just so happens to be his assistant, Elia Kane, who is moving up in the ranks of the Republic. Teva informs Mando, who asks his clan to help him, and they willingly agree. A battle ensues on Navarro, with the Mandalorians defeating Gorian Shard and claiming land on the planet. The Armorer also pushes Bo-Katan to unite the tribes once and for all. The episode ends with Captain Teva stumbling upon the prisoner transport that was carrying Moff Gideon. Scans show Beskar on the transport, which could mean Mandalorians are to blame for his escape. The plot, as they say, thickens. Let's just go ahead and talk about the cameo first and get out the way. Zeb showed up. I'm sure General Kenobi, you must have screamed like a schoolgirl. Tell us how you felt when that happened, man.
Oh man, like a squirrel on a pitching contest. Um, Dude, so initially, first of all, it was like dope just to see uh Y wings flying in. Those thing looks gorgeous, man. Like on screen, with the new special effects. I thoroughly enjoy watching Y wings and the X wings on this episode. Loved it. Don't get me wrong, all the other ships are beautiful too, but I mean, Y wings, you can't mess with that. That's OG right there, right? So I loved seeing the little camp, right? And then we we actually got another cameo in that scene that almost nobody talks about because
I
everybody
saw
was,
two. I saw
yeah.
two.
But anyway, so I saw the Lasat, right? Okay, fine. That's Seb's species, right? The Lasat.
Hmm.
And I was like, oh, that is so dope. They actually got a Lasat, pilot. Then he sits down and he talks, and I was like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, is this happening right now? And like, I couldn't believe it. And then he says, like, good luck. I'm like, oh my lord, that's him. Like, it has to be him. Like, there's no way, right? Don't get me wrong, I held my excitement until I checked the credits, at the end of the episode. Sure enough, it says Zeb, right? And I was like, okay, now I can geek out completely.
Oh yeah.
But yes, absolutely loved it. He looks good. I'm not gonna lie, he looks really good. Um, I didn't bump into him like visually, like like, oh, this looks kind of fake, or he looks funky or whatever. I thought he looked great. I mean, and it might, don't get me wrong, it might be the excitement talking, but I thought they did a good job visually with him.
You're not wrong. Honestly, I thought there was a lot that happened in this episode. A
Yeah.
lot of special effects, a lot of action sequences, and I thought all of it looked great. I'm just like, well, that's where all the money went. This episode right here.
Exactly.
I too was questioning, whether or not this was actually him, but it would be the meanest, the absolute
Yeah.
meanest trick in history if they were to put a Lasat on the screen and it not be Zeb. But it looked just like him, it sounded just like him, and I guess we're meant to believe he went on to become a pilot. This is like a pilot bar, right? This is like
Yeah.
that Top
Look that
Gun
way.
bar on the beach of, California. So this is where all the pilots hang out. So Zeb went
Yeah.
off to be a Republic pilot. It's pretty amazing.
And he was wearing the blue squadron, uniform. So I don't know if I don't remember, to be honest with you, if it's still in existence after Return of the Jedi. But that's, I mean, the colors matched. So I'm not sure if maybe he became now the general for that. Could be. I mean, he's got seniority at this point, I think.
And Dave's also calling out
Yes,
all the
there you
other
go.
cameos we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Doug Chiang, Deborah Chow, Rick Famuyiwa,
Yeah,
and
from
Dave
you,
Filoni at the bar.
Dave Filoni. Yep.
Dave was the one that I noticed first because I'm like,
Yeah.
he's the only one that wears that hat.
Exactly.
That's the
Yeah.
Filoni hat.
Yeah.
Him and maybe, oh gosh, what's the Austin director? Robert Rodriguez. Those two are
Mhm.
the only guys you can catch anywhere around a Star Wars set wearing that type of cowboy hat. And then Missy Rosas was the bartender. Yeah, that was pretty awesome. Dave also says the Lasat CGI modeling and movement was really good.
Yeah.
All of it, fantastic. This episode, they just spared no expense. Joe, what about you, man? That cameo happened. What were your thoughts?
No, I liked it. I thought it was really good. I was like, General Kenobi over here too. I was like, is that
That's
really him?
huge. That's huge.
No, I mean, like when you first see it on screen, you're just like, you're thinking it's his species, and
Right.
Yeah.
like one of his species, and I'm like, maybe it's just not really him, and you're seeing him and you're like, it kind of looks like Zeb, but I don't think it really is. And then he starts to talk, and that's the dead giveaway because you're like, the voice, that's it. You're like, oh shit, that is Zeb, because they use the same voice actor. And
They
if you
did.
look at the end credits, it's the same voice actor who voiced Zeb in Star Wars Rebels. So I was like, it's him. And I got
Absolutely.
excited because I'm like, oh man, they're going to start setting things up because we already see Bo-Katan. You see Zeb. Things are starting to get put into motion. I think the Ahsoka series is going to be fire, man. If they're starting to already do the world building and start setting things up, I can't wait. I want to see where this is going to go. I'm not trying to get overly excited, but it's getting my interest peaked.
And last but not least, Retro Ray, your reaction, man, when Zeb walked into the shot.
I was the same thing like Joe too. I was kind of like, is that him? Like, and I'm like, because he's in a flight suit, so I'm kind of like, nah, it's probably one of the, his species.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nah, it can't be. And then like same thing in credits. When I saw the in credits, I was just like, now I'm gonna have to go back and watch it. But I was watching it literally right before we jumped on, so I was like, I have to go back and watch it again. But like you said, yeah, seeing the little cameos and everything. I mean, dude, like I said, for me, what really gonna hit it for me is if I see Chopper. Chopper, I just love it.
Yeah.
I just love him, dude. Like I used to love R2. Don't get me wrong, R2's still there, but Chopper in the cartoon series was
Yeah.
just mind blowing. He was hilarious. Like I said, I want to see a live action. I've seen some people build him, at conventions, but I want to see if it looks like what's fans built, or is it actually going to be more, you know, a little bit different than the cartoon series. But that's to me, that's what I want to see.
So, and Jose or even Dave can correct me if I'm wrong. This is the second Rebels character that we've seen in live action. Well, on this show specifically,
Yeah.
because Bo-Katan was also in Rebels. We saw her with Katie
Yeah.
Sackhoff, and so this would be the second one, Zeb, because we haven't seen anyone else yet. We've
Yeah.
had references. I mean, Space Whales is a big reference to Ezra,
Yeah.
but this is the second one, so that's pretty awesome. Makes you wonder. Makes you wonder. They'll start like peppering in Rebels characters every other series. Maybe I think that's pretty safe to say. Dave said the legs did look different for Zeb in comparison to animation. We'll let it slide.
Yeah. That's why they
They
had him sit down.
they did enough. We'll,
Yeah.
we'll let it slide this time.
For now. Yeah, exactly.
We'll let it go. All right. Other plot points. I will take a little credit right now because
Oh no.
listen.
Just mute
I,
the mic.
I said last week. You don't have control. I said last week. I said the week before. I said the week before that. I did not feel that they were going to put Mando versus Bo like I was thinking at the beginning of the season. Before the season started, I was like, wow, these two are gonna butt heads. They're gonna fight for power, yada yada. Never got it. And I'm like, I gave up on it. And it felt more like they were going to have these two take up arms together. This episode was that. They fought side by side. They took care of the enemy for this threat, at least. And I don't think I think there's still some big twists coming, but we can all theorize what those might be. Um, but I really once the show started, once we saw Bo for the first time, and she was very nonchalant about the whole thing. I was just like, they're really trying to show us this conflict isn't going to happen, and I'm still on the side of it's not going to happen between those two. Um, and now it does feel like she has an unchallenged path to taking on leadership and bringing these tribes together. Although it almost seems too easy. Anyone else feel like the armorer may have ulterior motives? Anybody feel that way?
No, man, you're not getting it, dude. It ain't the armor. It's Bo-Katan, dude. I'm telling you.
I'm not telling you
Just saying. The armor is fine, dude. The armor is just she's trying to do something. And she finally sees Bo-Katan in a different light. Because Bo-Katan comes in and she's like, okay, I'm going to adopt your ways now because I want to be part of this family. And then she's actually a thriving, let's say, person in the community, a Mandalorian in the community. She came in right away. She got her hands dirty by trying to help. She just didn't sit on the sidelines and say, hey, this is the way, and just kind of fade off into the, background somewhere. She helped save a member of the community,
right,
went above and beyond,
right.
and is doing more than what is expected of her. So I think she's just gonna actually, done this so she can get in the good graces of these Mandalorians. And now, by the armorer finally showing her respect and saying, go out and go bring everybody here. We have a new home. I think that Bo-Katan is actually excited because she's getting exactly what she wants, because now she can go ahead and bring everybody here, start a new, Mandalorian base of operations. She already knows where the mythosaur is, and she's already told the armorer she's seen the mythosaur. Armorer believes her. She's going out and getting all the peeps. She knows where the dark saber is. I mean, things are being set up beautifully. She's playing the game to perfection. So I don't think it's the armor at all, dude. It's Bo-Katan.
That's dope.
Any, yeah, tell us about this, Ray.
Oh, this is actually done by Dave Dorman. He did this a while back, and he did a limited run print. I think it was like 100 and something prints that he made available. I got my hands on one of them.
Nice, very nice.
Like I said, I've been a big Katie Sackhoff fan, like for the longest time since when she took on the role of Starbuck,
Yep.
and when she ended up doing the voice in Clone Wars for Bo-Katan, like that's when I really gravitated towards that character. So when I saw her come to live action, was even like just like the icing on the cake, and then having the detail they've, of course, from animation to current, live action. I mean, I think they literally nailed it from the two. Now, mind you, the age differences, it's kind of a little different, but overall, I mean, she's done an awesome job with playing that character.
He says the armor does have horns on her freaking helmet after all. You're not wrong. Jose, jump in here.
Sure.
Are you thinking that, and look, I'm not trying to say Joe, you are wrong. I completely thought that Bo was going to be manipulative this season. I just feel like they haven't given us anything to follow that. I do feel like the armor, her 180 that she pulled
Yes.
from the last week,
That's the thing.
is odd.
Yeah.
Jose, you feel the same way apparently.
Yeah, so that's what I would say. That's again, this is just me nitpicking right at the episode, because there's hardly anything to nitpick at. But when I bumped a little bit, right, and I guess we were meant to, when she's like, "Hey, take off your helmet," I was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa!" Like, what just happened? Like, you, the effective, leader of this covert, right, who adhere to the oldest of ways, like all of a sudden it's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, take off your helmet," and she's like, "No." And then she's like, "Hey, do you respect me?" "Yeah." "We'll take it off." I was like, is this some weird, like, dumb test that she's doing it? Like, what is going on? Like, and so I bumped a little bit into that. I want to believe they are going to, go deeper into that, right? But the thing that I did, I'm like, okay, there's probably something else going on here. And that's probably true for a lot of characters, by the way, in this show. But like you said, when she's like, last episode, she's like, "Oh, you saw Mythosaur. That's cool. Like, move on, right?"
You were
And
tripping. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. It's like, "Oh, like for reals, for reals." It's like, "Oh, that's interesting. Okay, bye." Like nothing came off of it. And then this is like, "Oh yeah, so that pretty much means you're like the Messiah for like the Mandalorian. So yeah, go forth and like bring everybody else here, right?" I'm like, okay, so what happened? And I'll be honest with you, I was half waiting for Bo-Katan to be like, "Okay, put on my helmet and look at the recording, from like the HUD, or like a camera, whatever, and like some sort of proof." I don't know. Like, I was expecting a little bit more of why she took it, now, like, as like, no, you did see a mythosaur like live, right? So there's a little bit of that. I've since season 2, honestly, I've kind of wanted the armor to be, there you go, wanted the armor to be not necessarily a villain, but maybe a little bit more of an antagonist. I thought that was going to happen when Din, popped in Book of Boba Fett, and he tracks them down. And I thought she was going to be like, "Hey, like, get the hell out of here, or like, I'll beat your ass, because you're not a Mandalorian anymore." She was super mild about it, and I was like, okay, well, maybe that's not happening. That's not to say it can happen still, right? So I think I was with Joe on the same boat, as that Bo-Katan was sort of playing these guys. in a sense to get what she wanted. And I'm not saying, and I'm ruling that out by no means. I'm just saying that I think that maybe the armor is also having, some like hidden motives. And so it's good. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that we are supposed to be wondering about. I don't want to just take it at face value at this point, because I think they are setting up something. And again, what I really did like about this episode is that we actually pushed the story forward regarding the Mandalorians, right? So at the end of this episode, they got an adopted home, right? They're like, hey man, you guys can have this nice chunk of land here, settle down. And they're like, yeah, thank you, but, and she says it right, I think it's time for us to retake Mandalore. So I take it more like they're gonna use Navarro as like a staging ground, be like, hey, you know what, call everybody, come here, we'll organize, we'll get stronger together, and then we'll move in force, like, and retake our home, right? Like our planet.
Yeah.
And so that's definitely something that I thought was going to happen this season. I don't know if it's still going to happen this season. I kind of want to believe that it will, or at least they're going to attempt to do so. But like I said, yeah, I bumped a little bit into the change of heart, let's call it that, from the armor. So, but man, she kicked some butt this episode. Like she
She
was,
threw down.
like, oof. I was like, I am ready for Armor versus Bo-Katan. I don't even care like the context. Like just go at it.
And that sets up a weird situation, because you can't do this in front of the entire clan, right? Like,
Yeah.
Mando is pretty much neutral between these two, I think.
Yeah.
On one hand, he's done everything that the armor has asked for. On the other hand, Bo has saved his life, like, it feels like multiple times now.
Yep.
So how is he going to feel through all this? Does that mean the armor can't really challenge Bo publicly? She has to do it
Yeah.
behind the scenes, something along those lines.
And then
Man,
remember, there's still the dark saver issue, right? Like, okay,
right?
did we just not care anymore? I doubt it. I mean, I'm pretty sure they still want the ruler of Mandalore to wield it. So is that a formal challenge coming up? Like, is that something she's gonna have to do?
See, this is what I think is being set up in a way. You have the armor telling Bo Katan to go out and get people. Go get our people. Bring them over here. And she's out there doing her thing. They're over here trying to rebuild. The armorer knows at some point you can't have two alpha dogs in this pack. So I think what's being set up here is the armorer is going to finally have Bo Katan and Din Djarin face off for the control of the new faction. Whoever loses is going to be ousted from the tribe has spoken. We can't have two alpha dogs here, so you got to hit the road. So I think what will happen, or the setup is, I think Bo-Katan's going to win. Then Jarwin's going to get defeated, and he's going to have to hit the road with him and little Grogu. And they're going to have to start over because Pedro Pascal said something as, what did he say? Look at what she did to me.
Wait till you see
Yeah,
what
wait
she
till
did
you
to
Till you
me.
see what she does to me.
Yeah, and it's funny you mentioned that because I was thinking about this earlier. I was like, I don't think they're gonna stay in Navarro. Like stay, like that's it. We got a home, we're fine. That doesn't seem to be the way that they're leaning, right? The Mandalorians. But I was like, okay, what if, right? They're like, all right, man, we gotta go. We're gonna go reconquer the planet of Mandalore, and then Din, for some reason, and now Joe, you're making more sense. Uh, you know, he stays behind, right? Like he's fairly comfortable in Navarro, right? He's got
Yeah,
buddies there.
his old
Uh,
home.
yeah, exactly. He's basically his old home. They already offered him a job. They already offered him, land. So like he already saw that he's needed with this attack, right? Like if it wasn't for them, they would have been royally screwed. So I can see him maybe saying, you know what, guys, like now that I'm not part of the covert or whatever, like I'm just gonna hang around here. Like this is comfortable for me.
Yeah,
So
but when you start getting comfortable, you get soft. And when you get
exactly.
soft, you make mistakes.
Yeah, don't get me wrong.
Mm.
Like I'm not saying he's actually gonna stay, right? Like I'm saying like they might set it up that way, like you said, where he has to be left behind, or he's like, you know what, I'm gonna settle, and then something happens, somebody takes, Grogu or something like that, right? That makes him get back into the action. So that could be
So
something.
my this is my theory from opposite of Joe. So what if, because like David said, the Mythosaur Sword trumps the dark saber. So what if Mando and her are trying to get the Mythosaur or whatever, but you got to remember, you know Grogu has the same kind of Jedi powers that Ezra Bridger has, where he can control the creatures. Do you think that between Grogu and Mando working together, that he would help Mando control the Mythosaur so that he can either ride it or take control of it?
I I think, and I think that the armor is doing something nefarious. I don't know what. I don't know what the end game is at all, but I do think that her switch is odd. It is so weird to be like, "Oh, cool, you saw that? That's nice. Very cool." And then the
Yeah,
next day, you're like, "You're going to be the one to unite us all and lead us to Valhalla or wherever they believe in."
right.
Well, Mandalore. But there has to be some other motive. Now, I can't tell you this is exactly what it's going to happen, but I'm still not even sure what she's telling Bo to do. She's like telling Bo one thing, and then she's telling the rest of the clan that she's just gonna go get additional people. She didn't flat out say go tame the mythosaur, right? I didn't hear that. Y'all didn't hear that.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
don't know what Bo's meant to do. It could be a scenario, just something happens to where the armor will intervene with Bo, and Mando and Grogu are left to tame the mythosaur. I strongly believe Grogu might be the only one to be able to do it. Maybe he tames it and it looks like Mando does the taming himself. I'm not really sure, but
right.
I don't feel that the armor is being 100 with us. And seeing how capable she is with her weapons, it's also very scary. You know what I mean? Earlier in the chat, let's see here. I missed one. I missed one. Oh, collection, reflection. What's going on? Thanks for joining the chat. Do you think Paz Vizsla is going to try to challenge for the dark saber again? I
Eh,
think Paz is just happy that his boy's alive.
I
Like
was gonna say, before this episode, I would have said, yeah, for sure, he's just gonna keep trying. It's sort of his, uh, his family built it, right? Like his family constructed his clan constructed the dark saber. But now after this episode, I'm like, hey man, like I don't know, man. Like you said, he's a grateful dad, and that could mean a lot. That he will surrender, right? His claim to the dark saber, just to follow one of these two dudes that now he's cool with, right? Whether it be Din or Bo. Um, but yeah, no, I don't think that that's gonna happen anymore, or not soon anyway. Also, I just gotta say, man, I am liking Paz Vizsla more and more. Like, I've always loved the way he looks. I mean, me being a chunky boy, like I love that there's a nice chunk of Mandalorian out there just mowing down guys left and right. Like he's a walking tank basically, right? So I've always liked the way he looks. He definitely stands out. He's like unapologetically just big. He's like, let's go. But this episode, man, just elevated him like so much more. That speech that he was giving, I was like, yeah, man, like why would you help these guys? Like, what the hell with these guys? I was kind of like on his riding his wave, and then he's like, because we're Mandalorians, that's what we do. I was like, oh, he just flipped it on its ear. Like, come on, man, like you can't play me like that. Like yeah, I loved it.
He
And
put the
again,
game down, flipped it, and reversed it. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, pretty much. And he says, right, hey, I don't like this dude, but this dude and this chick, both of them risked everything to save my boy. So that's it, ride or die, right? And I was like, you know what? As a dad, I can appreciate that. Like that's very much a sentiment, right? that probably a lot of us can relate. So I liked it, man. And then sorry on the ramble, but when they're getting pinned down, right? Like the other let's call them regular Mandos, right?
Sure.
They're getting pinned down pretty bad. And dude just pops in, right? And like just starts like mowing down dudes left and right. I was like, whoa, like, yeah, love that guy.
I
Love
was
it.
super worried when he took a shot to the
Dude,
chest.
he took a freaking cannonball to the chest, bro. I was
Yeah.
like,
But so did some
dang.
of the other Mandalorians as well. I
Yeah,
was
man.
wondering if they
And
perished.
I was gonna say, we didn't explicitly see them get up, right? Like
Yeah.
this dude took it and like sort of shook it off, and it definitely rang his bell. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
he still was fine. Like,
Star Wars
yeah,
is Star Wars has always been funny about that. A
yeah,
stormtrooper can get shot in the shoulder,
he's
and
done. Yeah,
they're yeah, and he's dead, gone.
exactly.
Yeah. I think one of the things we need to get back here on track and talk about is the whole story arc for this particular episode. And it's kind of showing the state of things, as far as what's going on with this new alliance or whatever they want to call themselves. They're stupid as they're dumb as a box of rocks. They're stupid.
Who?
They're
The New
the
Republic.
the new
Oh.
republic.
Yeah.
They're just dumb. Like they're so caught up in the bureaucratic nonsense of
Yep.
paperwork, that they can't see what's really unfolding in front of them. They're their own worst enemy. You would think you toppled this regime that had their shit together, and yes, they ruled with an iron fist, but they were very methodical and very precise in the way that they went about ruling the galaxy. It worked, even if it was through fear. There was still some things that you could take and say, okay, well, certain aspects of what they did worked. Let's go ahead and implement our own version of this throughout the galaxy, but more as peacekeepers, kind of just keeping the peace throughout the galaxy, trying our best, setting up settlements that are close by within, different worlds. Okay, we're going to go ahead and have these different, let's say, quadrants, and we're going to go ahead and be in striking distance. We're going to have main hubs, but out of those main hubs, we're going to have little sub branches that can still go and render aid to these other parts of the galaxy that might be, or other planets that might be in need until we can get the reinforcements to get there. It's just a bunch of nonsense,
Yep.
and even when the one pilot goes asking for help and saying, hey, this little planet over here, Navarro, they need some help, here's the hollow recording and everything. There's like, guy
Yeah.
just looks at it for a couple of seconds. Yeah, man, I can't do nothing for you, bro.
Yeah, I was gonna say I got 40,000 other requests today.
Yeah, I got a
Uh,
whole stack of paperwork I got to get through today. I got time for this. Plus, they're
think
not a
you-
member. Ooh,
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That one line sold me on, like you said, on how bad the New Republic is doing, right?
yeah.
When he's like, "Oh, they haven't signed the charter," like, ooh, like that's not great. I was like, "Oh my lord!" Like that's it. Like he's out, right? Like he's like, "Oh, I was on the fence before, right? Like about diverting some, whatever military assets. Now I'm like, you are getting nothing. Like that's it.
Yeah, and check this out. This is the other thing, Jose, that I had an issue with. We talk about them and how they're just wasting resources, right? They're decommissioning Star
bunch of
Destroyers
ships,
and all
yeah.
that, but yet they're using an Imperial transport
I
vessel
thought that was funny
for
too.
Moff Gideon.
Yeah, I thought that was funny too.
What the
Yeah.
F, bro? Like,
Yeah.
what is wrong with this picture?
Yeah, I
like,
thought that too. I was like, what? Like,
oh my God.
I mean, you guys
man.
got shuttles, right? I mean, they at least have shuttles, maybe not, like armed ones, but I was like, you couldn't use another thing? Like, what? Like, I bumped into that too. I was like, really, guys? Like, a straight up Imperial shuttle? Like, okay.
Like, it didn't have any markings on there showing that they're friendly or anything,
No, not even painted, like,
Nothing.
painted yellow or something, like make it different, Nothing,
Yeah,
dude. Like,
it's just like, what is going on here?
yeah, I thought that was funny too. I
And
was
the
like,
only
"Oh,
the smart one out of the whole bunch is that one pilot that we've already seen in the previous season,
Captain Teva.
Teva. They call him Blue,
Blue, yeah.
and that's what Mondo calls him, Blue.
Yeah.
he's able to find the Mandalorians, even though they want to be hidden. He's like, oh,
Dude, I
because I
thought that
served
was
with one of the guys,
yeah. And they're like,
he's in your
who? Like,
ranks.
yeah,
R5 comes out.
yeah,
It was me.
yeah. I thought that was cool. I actually
you
enjoyed
know,
that. Yeah.
that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
But, when you look at the grander scheme of things, it makes sense now. Moff Gideon never made it to
No.
his trial.
No. Now we got confirmation,
Bo
right? That
Katan got
which we
bamboozled. She
assumed.
got her place blown up to bits, and they're like,
yeah.
"Where are all these ships coming from? It just can't
Yeah.
just be anybody who's getting." It was Moff Gideon getting revenge
Yeah.
on Bo Katan. He's like, "Okay, you went and came for me. I'm going to take your home away from you." We didn't see him. There was no mention of him, but you knew it was somebody of importance, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
So it makes sense. He didn't. He got extracted. He never made it. Gets his revenge on Bo Katan. And the other facet of it is his what he can do is just genius. He's like one of the best villains right now in the Star Wars series that we've seen so far on Disney Plus. He's very smart, methodical. It's hard to get him or get to him, or even try to bring him to trial. And what happens at the very end of the episode? See, what happened? Where they're looking for evidence? Who did this? Who did the extraction? And what does he leave behind? A little sliver of Beskar on the
Right.
wall, So I'm like, okay, a little sliver of Beskar on the wall. Moff Gideon is doing the red herring, dude. I'm like, this guy is genius, man. The super villain behind the scenes pulling the strings.
Yep.
What better way than to get this idiotic New Republic out of your hair than to give them a new target? And that's
Yeah.
going to be the Mandalorians now, because they're
Ex-
going to say, there was Beskar at the scene of the crime. We're going to go with just a little bit of evidence here. We
Yeah.
have
We're
enough to
gonna
go
go
ahead and just bring them all
exactly.
in and go after them.
You
Right.
So
just
now you're
called
going to
you
have,
just called Blue a smart guy. Now you're
I'm
gonna
just
set him
saying,
up.
this is what they're insinuating.
Yeah.
The
So
little sliver of Beskar.
I think Tiba actually is gonna go like off the books on this one. Like, I think he's gonna be like, "Hey guys, just because I found Beskar doesn't mean Mandalorians did this." I agree with Joe that probably the New Republic is gonna be like, "Hey, Beskar
Go
equals
get them.
Mandalorians. That's all we care about. Let's go." Right?
Let's go get them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
all of them.
Tiba might be the one playing like detective up to this, right? He already knows there's something up. He explicitly says it, right? He's like, "Hey man, I don't think this is unrelated. There's been, we've seen stormtroopers, we've seen TIE fighters, now we see pirates, like all
Gideon.
of this, like all of Moff Gideon never made it.
Yeah.
So like, hey, all of this is connected." He's like, "I don't know how yet, but I know it is," right? So I'm actually excited to see his character, a little bit more. I like the guy, the actor. He's been a fan of Star Wars, all his life. So it was awesome to see him when he cameoed first, and now to see that they're actually developing the character for him. I think it's even better. But yes, I agree. There is definitely I don't how can I say it? I don't think we are meant to take the Beskar remains on the ship at face value, right?
Well,
Like,
this is the thing I was getting at. We've seen what already in the last season of The Mandalorian. We saw, what did we see? The Dark Troopers is what they call them, right?
yeah,
The
Right.
robotic Dark Troopers, right? So, who says that they couldn't have been upgraded? Because the armor that they had could repel blasters, but it still couldn't, repel the lightsaber strikes
yeah,
from a Jedi, right? Because they weren't made out of Beskar.
right.
Maybe they got an upgrade. Maybe there
Yeah,
was a different version of them that maybe not the whole body, but some parts of the
yeah.
droid itself could be made of Beskar, you know? And this new generation, because this would be a fourth or whatever generation of
Fourth, I think. Yeah,
of a droid, an intact droid coming in, getting Moff Gideon, and he's like, "Oh, peace, no, leave it there,
exactly.
leave it there.
Yeah,
We're gonna
that'll throw
send a
him off.
message,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and we're gonna split and let them find the ship. Just leave it floating here. They'll find it eventually,
Yeah. Now,
So
the other theory that it's being floating around in the Twitter sphere is do you guys remember the Imperial Super Commandos? These guys were basically Mandalorians that sided with the Empire, right? So they got weapons, they got funding, all of that stuff, and they had different uniforms, right? They came out in Rebels, and they didn't look like regular stormtroopers, but they didn't look like Mandalorians either. They were like halfway, between both of them. So some of them were saying, maybe somebody from the Saxon clan, right, that is still out there, like trying to wreak havoc. So the way they did again in Rebels, right, when they had sort of like their civil war. Um, so they're saying, okay, well, maybe somebody is still aligned, with the Empire, like from the Mandalorians. So they could have been them. I've heard, obviously, I think all our minds go to Sabine, right? Did she jump the gun and she took Moff Gideon to get information on Thrawn, maybe, if that's the connection. And she's like, she probably would be like, I don't care about the New Republic. I care about getting the information first. So if if I let Moff Gideon show up to the trial, I'm never gonna get access to him. So I intercept him, halfway and do it myself. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of stuff that could be in. I've also heard that even the armor, right, could have been behind, like busting him out. I don't know. I mean, all plausible explanations. But the
Or it
point
could
is
also
that,
be maybe our old friend
yeah,
Boba went ahead and busted him out.
that too, right? I mean, we don't know, right? There's now we know there's plenty of guys with Beskar out there.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but my point, sorry, was gonna be that this is how Mando should be. This is the kind of conversations I want to have each week. This is, it gets us thinking, it gets us hoping, it gets us saying, hey man, we got some cool stuff this episode, that the action was on point on this
Yep.
one. And at the same time, like you said, he's showing us the state of the galaxy, the state of the government, the state of the New Republic, and showing us, some continuation from the storylines of season 2, finally moving forward with the whole Mandalorian sort of, succession slash, going back to Mandalore. And he manages to do it, they managed to do it in what, like 30 some minutes, like. So that to me is a feat, because remember, like 2 episodes ago, we got what, like almost 50 minutes of an episode, and I didn't feel it moved the needle like one bit
Yeah.
in the Mandalorian story. I know it moved it, in the overall overarching cloning, all of that stuff, but I feel that this one did a really like awesome job at balancing, like you said, galaxy story, Mandalorian story, and just action throughout, right? And it was awesome. I mean, they did a really good job.
Yeah, I thought they did a really good job. But one of the things that I kept seeing too, or we keep seeing, is that one reference to that one officer that was on Moff Gideon's ship.
Yeah.
And now she's over there on Coruscant,
Yeah.
Hell
trying
yeah.
to be, I'm reformed, I'm no
Yeah.
longer part of that anymore. I was liberated. Bunch of nonsense. We all know that. But one of the things that she keeps on actively trying to do is, like, besides just meddle and, do something here,
Right.
try to, I guess, cheat or distract
Yeah.
this stuff that's going on in Coruscant, is she's really trying to keep everybody away from Navarro for some odd reason. And we saw in the previous season, they destroyed a base on Navarro. It was a base, but there could be more than just
Oh,
that
yeah.
one that we've seen,
Mhm.
because it's such a vast world.
Yeah.
They could have put something underground or something hidden way off. We don't know, a bunker somewhere. Something's going on. I think that they might have Moff Gideon back on Navarro,
Could be.
hidden
Yeah.
somewhere in plain sight,
Yeah.
and
That'd
that's
be
why she's
interesting.
that's why
Yeah.
she keeps trying to keep everybody away from there. She's like, oh, we don't really want to mess with that because this is going on, and I think there's more to it than just what she's letting on,
Agreed. Yep.
So I'm thinking that he might be there. There's something else going on there that she doesn't want nobody to know about. So I'm just saying,
Matthew Barker, longtime follower of the show, says, Joe, I'm only here for the 3D printer giveaway. When are you picking a lucky winner to take one of those bad boys home? Well,
and that's not up to me. It's up to Teddy. I already told him I had it there.
you're going to give away a 3D printer?
No, that's giving away the Mondo.
All right, all right. We
Yeah,
will
not my 3D
definitely
printer.
we'll definitely launch that giveaway next week.
Yeah,
Nerd
I'll even
Affiliated
show you all
says,
what you can win. It's a bigger version of this right here.
Oh, cool. Nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
oh man, all right. That's a tease right there. That's a tease. Nerd
Yeah.
Affiliated says this episode should have been episode 2.
Yeah,
But
I mean, it would have definitely set up, the pacing on this season very differently, I think.
yeah, but we definitely need though like some of those episodes beforehand. We need to know the Mythosaur exists. You know what I mean?
I mean, that can be done in an episode, man. That first episode again didn't feel that it moved the needle. Episode 2, yes. Episode, what was it? No. Episode 3, not so much. So maybe episode 3. Maybe this could have been episode 3.
Maybe so. Maybe so.
Yeah.
Lozano says y'all should try to get Paul
Yeah,
Soon Lee, who plays Carson Teva,
absolutely.
on the podcast. I have seen him on a
Yeah,
few.
man, he's
Ray,
straight
you
up
know
a
what to do,
geek,
Ray.
Yeah. He's a geek, and he's he has a podcast, I think, and he has, his own YouTube channel too. So he probably would be receptive, to the idea.
So, question real quick, though, because Dave brought it up. To me, where he puts on here, no wonder the New Republic got bamboozled by the First Order. It's just
Yeah.
me from just catching this now, leading up. I guess I'm wondering if they're trying to fill it up to give us why. Because even Bo in Star Wars says, how they fell apart, the
Yeah.
New Republic. So I'm wondering if this is kind of give more explanation of how the red tape and everything causes the New Republic to basically just crumble and fall to the new First Order.
Well, you've seen what's going on too inside the New Republic is there's a lot of moles there,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what could happen is that you could have people that are still friendly to the old ways in the Empire
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
are now a part of this New Republic, And what's happening is that they're making it crumble from within. They're destabilizing it from within
Right.
by acting like, hey, everything's good. We've been liberated. We want to be good citizens now. We're doing
Yeah.
our job. And as we've seen, that's not always the case. So I'm thinking that could also be what's happening because you don't want to give the people that serve the other side jobs or ranks in what you're trying to build now. It doesn't work, and as we're seeing, it's obviously not working.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things going on here. So it's no wonder that this thing crumbled. Whoever was the head of all this, nonsense here, that's your real villain.
Oh, that's freaking
Wouldn't be
hilarious.
surprising if Jar Jar was the one running the whole thing,
Yeah.
That's how they got them. That's how they got them. Listen, I'm kind of wondering here that because I think Jose had mentioned it earlier, going back to Moff Gideon escaping, assuming he's alive, that either like Joe said, it's just a setup made to look like the Mandalorians were involved, but they definitely were not, or maybe the armorer is somehow involved. And no, I know it sounds crazy and it makes no sense, but what if there was a deal made, and the deal is armor helps get Moff Gideon out of custody, but what does he have to offer her, you ask? Well, the claim to Mandalore, and to get everybody else out of the way who might pose a challenge to that claim, such as Bo-Katan Kryze, who somebody already tried to knock off the face of the planet not too long ago.
But
So
how is the armor going to get in the ship and go spring him out? She don't even got access to his ship. She going to build
maybe,
one with the Beskar?
probably, absolutely, that's exactly what happened. I'm not telling you I have all the answers, but in my head, the only thing that someone like Gideon or somebody else can offer her is her home world, which she definitely misses and is probably going to willing to do a lot for it. And it's just odd, this 180 from last week, this 180 of like this mythosaur, it wasn't real. You were seeing things. A lot of people see things when they're under distress or they go underwater for a long period of time. You don't get any oxygen into your brain. You start just hallucinating. It could be a
Yeah.
number of things, but still, it's really odd. And I'm trying to figure out what what is there for her to gain by being involved with this? Why make a deal with the devil? What do you have to gain? And it just has to be Mandalore. He can provide
Yeah,
something that
but
nobody else can.
yeah, but you're assuming that this is happening. It's all theoretical. It's not like
Of course,
tangible yet. Not
it's a
yet.
theory. Wow, I mean,
Yeah,
hold on. It's a theory, but everything's a theory until it's either proven
yeah,
right or wrong.
yeah. Exactly. That's what we're all theorizing about. Hey, we're thinking this is going to happen. This is going to happen, but in the actuality of things, we have to wait until the next week's episode to find out who's right and who's wrong or what's going on. Maybe we're all wrong,
Nerd
but it's
affiliate,
fun to always theorize.
Nerd affiliate
Which
says,
honest,
I think this is setting up season 4, which kind of sucks. But John wrapped all the previous storylines, so I liked it.
that's what I say. I'm hoping, because we got only 3 episodes left this season, right? So I'm hoping we keep going with this. I'm hoping that we get some more story driven also episodes, right? That we push along. What's gonna happen? What's going on with the Mandalorians themselves? Yeah, we just don't have much time left for this show again this season. So yeah, I mean, look, we all know there's gonna be a season 4, right? Unless something incredibly insane happens, right, in the next, I don't know, few months. Uh, but you know, I still want to see that. What's the punchline here? What's the punchline for season 3, right? And this episode, has been more hopeful. They definitely did a lot better. Like I said, so far this is the best episode, hands down. I'm really really hoping we don't get derailed the next episode. That we jump over to you know uh a flashback episode of Pershing when he was with his mom and how he started, reading about cloning and stuff like that. Like I don't care to see that now that I got this episode. I'm like, hey, let's just go, man. Let's keep going, please.
Yeah, one of the things we need to make the transition to now is starting to talk about Bad Batch because it's getting late here. I'm gonna have to
Oh,
go to
that
Well,
work
is
that's
tomorrow.
happening. We talked
well,
about that.
well, that's the thing I was going to bring about the Bad Batch. I mean, technically, they gave us both episodes this week. Well, who's to
Two
say that
episodes.
we won't get a
Yeah,
longer episode on the last,
yeah,
at
hopefully.
least last 2 or 3 episodes for the Mando,
Yeah,
maybe an extra longer than the normal episode.
yeah. But
Possibly.
Ju-
Joe, so Ted had mentioned that I think we're gonna separate Bad Batch for another time.
No.
Yeah.
Bad Batch was fire, dude. I don't know why we're not talking about it.
Oh,
So
dude, it
if
was
you guys
It
are
takes more
awesome.
time. That's why. A
yeah,
lot
if you
more
guys are
time.
interested, I do have a live coming up on Friday to talk about the last episode of Bad Batch. So if you guys don't mind Friday, maybe we can work something out.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Absolutely.
I'll probably hop on with you if you're going to do
All
it in
right.
the evening.
Yeah, we can work it out.
Nerd affiliated says, yeah, the New Republic is full of themselves. He, meaning Dave, pulling a Clone Wars. He's gonna get us like Last Jedi in 2 more seasons. LOL.
He's
He's gonna get us liking
liking, yeah, the
Last
Last
Jedi
Jedi
in
in
2
two
more
more seasons.
seasons. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's not wrong. What have I always said? They're here to fix the criticisms of the fans. Yeah, I
Mhm.
guess we can do it, Dave. And then option 3, less likely, Sabine broke him out. Dave Lozano, you beat me to it, man. Next episode is directed by Bryce Dallas Howard, co-written by Filoni, and then
yep.
the last 2 episodes, I believe, are directed by either Bryce and Rick collectively or separately. One of them, has chapter 23, and then the other one has chapter 24.
Okay.
Or maybe both of them are Rick. And I also read somewhere next week's supposed to be around 45 minutes. Don't quote me on that. I kind of read that in passing, reading something else. So yeah, next week also should be exciting. Look, I think this is great, and if anything, this sets up some really big twists. Whether that's the Republic going after the Mandalorians, or whether that's the armor being the one behind and manipulating everybody this entire time. I think we're really set up for something pretty good here. Lozano says it's Rick Sanchez. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
So Rick has the last 2 episodes. Is that what you're saying? Either way, both of them are great directors, and they saved them for these last 2 episodes or these last 3 episodes. So exciting to see what happens. We want to hear from you guys. If you're watching this at a later time, or if you're listening to this in podcast form, we want to hear from you. Let us know what your thoughts are about Chapter 21, titled "The Pirate." We didn't talk about Gordian Shard once, but it's okay.
His design looked pretty rough, dude. I'm not gonna lie.
What? I
Yeah.
thought it was pretty cool.
No, man, it looked pretty bad, and most of
It
the
remind
pirates on that ship look bad.
it reminded me of Pizza the Hut from Spaceballs.
Yes.
He just looked like
Exactly.
an old piece of seaweed, you know? It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah, that did anybody else bumped into the when he's talking at the beginning on the hologram when he's talking to Grief Karga?
the
Was
voice,
was he a little bit off
he
like
was off.
on the movement
The
and like
sinking. Yep.
right? Okay, I thought it was just me, but I was
Did
like,
anybody get his first mate there? He looked like a Smee from Peter Pan. For real. Like he had the sweater and everything.
Yeah,
Like
you're
I'm
right.
like,
You're
what's
right.
going on here, man? Like,
Yeah.
but if you're a space pirate, why would you dress like that?
Right?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And why would you even have a wheel that you
Yeah.
turn? You know?
Exactly. Like
I'm like, God, man,
yeah.
it was so bad. Like even like the guns, the way that they came out, they're trying to make it look like one of those old galleons, you
I was gonna
know?
say yeah.
Yeah, and
They're
I'm
Like
just
they're
like,
Force
they're called pirates. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
I'm just
That's
saying
what this
it's a
is.
space pirate though, bro. I mean, like, no,
I
no,
really did like his ship a lot.
Yeah.
The ship design, and I'm with you
yeah,
on the old school guns. I'm like, I think they could be automated. But anyway, but the ship was pretty cool. I really liked that design and the way it looked. Uh, it obviously didn't
but the
end well
pirates
for
had
it,
been
but
in how many battles already? Like they've been
I would
around
think,
for a
right?
while,
Yeah,
and it took a handful of Mandalorians, a little Naboo ship, fighter.
We're not talking about no
I'm
like
like, come
new
on, man,
Mandalorians. We're talking about Bo-Katan and
yeah.
Din.
no,
Oh, did you
man,
all see that one? Like it was like a split-second scene when I guess when they're wrapping up the fighters already, like the pirate fighters. There's a Mandalorian on top of a
yep,
fighter, just like gunning down the engine like
the
that, like
engine,
just
yep.
Yeah, that was bad.
and then the thing just goes down and the guy just flies off. I was like, whoa, like, like this dude was like, no, I gotta get me a fighter. Like, I don't care, I don't have a ship.
Yeah, but where'd he
So
come from? Where
yeah,
did the
that's what I was
dude
gonna
come
say. I
from?
don't know. Yeah, I don't know how he managed to hop on, but I thought, like, I saw that, I was like, wow, did that
Yeah,
just happen?
they didn't show it, but they also played Mando's theme when that happened, and that was a little odd. I'm like, we know it's not Mando. He's flying
Yeah, he's
the
flying
N1,
the N1. Yeah.
so it was weird that they threw that little Mando theme in there.
Yeah, the ship battles this season have been gorgeous. Like
Yeah,
I've enjoyed them a lot. That asteroid, a fight again with the pirates. That first episode was chef's kiss. Was beautiful. The one with the tie interceptors was really really good. This one I really liked it. Like, this one maybe because we had a more of like a bigger ship, right? Like the capital ship. Um, I don't know. The fights again have been like really really good.
Yeah.
Um, but
But
yeah,
this thing with the pirates though is not over, and Grief Karga is
yeah.
a damn fool. You're
it's
gonna
not.
build a
It's
city.
done, bro.
No, there's a lot more a lot more pirate clans. This
He
was
says
just one tiny little ship, dude.
he
There's
said
a
that
whole bunch of them.
he actually says right you don't want to something like that, like you don't want to mess with the pirate nation.
Yeah, there's a
So
pirate nation, dude. It's not just one little pirate ship.
yeah,
But Grief
Wasn't
Karga's a
that little?
fool. He's a
Yeah.
fool though. You're gonna build a city
yeah,
and you have no
no
defenses to
defense.
defend
Yeah.
the people.
I thought
Like, what's
that's-
wrong with you, man? Like, you're making money. You're
yeah.
spending it all on the clothes and the little droids
Hey,
that hold your
gotta
little
have.
cape.
That's what I was gonna say. Those are
Like,
expensive,
come
man.
on, man. Like,
He thought he sent the message the first time. They didn't
what
Yeah.
listen.
message?
Him and Din, they took 6 of them out in
But
like
the
a
brother
split
left.
second.
But the brother left. That was his muscle, and he
They
took off.
left him to send a message.
No, they chased. He knew this. How do you know that this isn't going to happen? Like everybody that they show in Star Wars in the Mando series, the people who lead the cities and all, they're a bunch of damn fools, man. Like,
Yeah.
come on, man.
I just thought it was funny. Like his escape route is like go to the lava flats. I was like,
Yeah.
really? Like
You can't shoot us here. You know,
you want to
like,
send? Yeah, exactly. You want to send them when there's absolutely no cover. The floor is literally lava, and like, how is that the safest?
they don't have no
on
water.
your
They
foot.
had no provisions. They got no water. They got no
No.
food. They got no light. No
Yeah.
fire. I mean, if you
Yeah.
had something growing as far as like
They
a
have a school.
tree or shrubs or something, you could burn that, but they're in the middle
Yeah,
of a
no,
lava field.
they just
There
stuck
ain't
with it,
nothing
dude.
out there.
Yeah, I was like, wow, man, like somebody was unprepared. But
Yeah, like, come on, man. Like, you know that, you don't want to leave your citizens unprotected. You need to, bare minimum, have something that you can protect the city and the people within the city with, You would think first order of business, you got to have water, you got to have food, you got to have some power grid to, get the people the necessities. But beyond that, the next thing would be order. You're going to have to protect them. You got to have a way to protect yourself and the people. Have a couple of fighters nearby. Something, man. This guy had nothing,
I,
nothing.
I I get it, but then we wouldn't have a story. Like it just has to happen
yeah,
that
Yeah,
way.
I
I
know.
was
I'm
gonna
just
say
saying it's
the
just
fight was good enough to let it slide, but still, I did bump into that too. Like I was like, come on, man.
I'm like they got nothing, dude. Like I'm like,
Yeah,
come on, man.
yeah, exactly.
Lava ferrets. There you go. That's what
There
the
you
word
Yeah,
go.
is.
Some
Lava ferrets.
walking, monkey lizards, maybe.
be eating what do they call that?
Absolutely.
Those meals ready to eat.
yeah,
MREs.
yeah,
They ain't got no water though, but we
yeah.
got plenty
But
MRE.
we got plenty of them. A little bit dry,
Awesome.
but
One more time, checking out the big
yep.
cameo of the
Yeah,
episode.
dude.
Yeah, in all his glory, he looks fantastic. Zeb from Star Wars Rebels looks very well aged. He looks very knowledgeable.
Yep.
Looks very
Yeah, he
experienced.
looks like he's seen some things,
Oh
Teddy.
yeah.
Right? Yeah, he's a vet now. You don't mess with him.
Yep.
He looks great.
He just wanted to
Fantastic
pull up
moment.
to the bar and have a drink. It might be his last one.
Fantastic moment. I'm sure we're gonna, like I said, they'll probably just sprinkle these characters in a little over time,
Yeah.
uh, across all the episodes, leading to something big. We still don't know what this secret secret lost track is that they're calling the whatever series that's going to be about. But they're starting
Yeah,
to sprinkle in these
they're
characters.
throwing the breadcrumbs out. They're throwing the breadcrumbs out
Yeah.
already.
Absolutely. All right. Before we get out of here, I got a couple of things to talk about. It won't take but a minute. Help us out. Help us out. There's a campaign fundraiser going on right now amongst Ghostbusters chapters all across the country to help the Starlight Foundation create hospital gowns for kids that are Ghostbusters themed. There's a
Nice.
nice little prototype of what they look like. Answer the call. All you got to do is scan the QR code, donate anything you can. Every dollar helps. We are less than $3,000 away from the overall goal. Once the goal is met, the suits go into production. Again, these are hospital gowns for children wards. So put a smile on a kid's face when they're in, some dire moments. Help us out. Answer the call. The Ghostbusters Starlight fundraiser. Scan the QR code, make a donation today, and help us out. And then, in case you missed it at the beginning of the episode here, we are giving away screening passes, free advanced screening passes to the new Nicolas Cage film Renfield, where he plays Dracula. Should be a freaking good time. If you want a chance to win these passes, we're going to send an email to our giveaway mailing list. To be a part of it, scan the QR code, use the link at the top of our link tree to join the giveaway mailing list, and you will receive an email tomorrow morning on how you can register to win those passes. We'll give you an opportunity to win, and then we will actually post the same giveaway link to all the rest of our followers. This is for the San Antonio area. You want a chance to go see Renfield for free. All you got to do is join our giveaway mailing list. Awesome. Thanks everybody for the comments. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and be sure to tune in to the Countdown City WrestleCast tomorrow night on YouTube because they're previewing the mecca of them all, the WWE WrestleMania. Yes, that's right. It's this weekend, and the best show, the best commentators on anything pro wrestling is the WrestleCast. So be sure to join them tomorrow night. Stream usually starts around 9:15, 9:30. Be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube at Countdown City Geeks. That way you don't miss when they go live. If you are a wrestling fan, this is what you've been waiting for, WrestleMania. And I must say, I don't follow wrestling week to week, but it has been like pretty exciting these last few months. Just the storylines and everything else they're doing. So be sure to follow along and be sure to watch them tomorrow. All right, that'll do it for the Geekcast. My name is Ted, aka Steady. Joining me on this episode is the one and only Retro Rape.
Hey guys. Hey, also keep an eye out. We got some interviews that we have that are gonna be posting pretty soon. Got the interview with the artist who's working on the Street Fighter TMNT crossover, and then we also got the interview with the upcoming Black Panther comic book artist that's from San Antonio.
Nice.
So those will be coming out pretty soon. And then also in the works is the writer who wrote Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe. That would be coming up next. So it's gonna be some cool stuff. So like and subscribe.
Absolutely. And I saw the one with Chris Allen, right? That was his name.
Yeah.
Amazing interview, man. Top notch. Absolutely loved it. We also got the man behind the magic, Joe Garcia.
Yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. Greatly appreciate it. And like always, make sure you subscribe, like, and share. And also check out countdowncitygeeks.com for all our great content. You can see from Retro Raid, General Kenobi's bunker to Daniel, and all the other great stuff we got coming out. So we really appreciate everybody's support. And, of course, we love getting together to talk some Star Wars. And make sure you go and follow our good friend over here, General Kenobi's bunker, because he's always putting out great stuff as well.
Absolutely. And last but never the least, from General Kenobi's bunker channel, it's Jose.
That's right, guys. Appreciate you. Always fun to have this discussion. Like I said, really good episode. Gave us, it's given me a lot more hope for this season. Let's put it just that way. But yeah, guys, if you would appreciate it if you swing by General Kenobi's bunker. We also launched a second channel, General Kenobi's bunker en español. So if you guys enjoy that type of content, please go check it out. Refer it to friends, family, your worst enemy, whatever. So just go make them check out the channel. So thank you again. Also, we are on TikTok. We are very close to 6,000 subscribers on TikTok, or followers, I should say. So if you haven't, I would appreciate it. General.kenobis.bunker over on TikTok. So thanks again, guys.
There you go. There you have it. We'll see you next week. Have a good night.